Oh, what a score to Good Will Hunting. This movie started it all to make Boston a film destination. This is it. This is the movie, because nobody cares about Blown Away or Celtic Pride.
The next Karate Kid, I believe the one with Hilary Swank, was
Yeah,
a Boston movie. The Firm was a Boston movie.
Yeah, nobody cares about those. This is the first one.
So Celtic Pride you mentioned.
Yeah, Celtic Pride.
Yeah.
Me and a friend of mine who has been mentioned on this show a bunch of times, and eventually I'm going to have to get him on one of these
Is
shows.
that the guy that Amy Schumer, like, face fuck me, hashtag me too?
No, no, but we can talk about him in a second, because he's in that trailer for that terrible, god-awful movie.
Hey. I have no opinion.
Yeah.
I don't, as a man in his 30s, a white man in his 30s, I don't believe I can have an opinion on that movie.
Yeah,
accurately.
So. Yeah,
accurately. You know, we're going to need an actual, like, female perspective. Bill.
I could turn you guys off right now if you want.
I know, please. Bill. I'll be sensitive over there.
Right. Anyway, today we're going to be talking.
Terrible at opening a show, by the way.
I know. Well, I didn't really have a plan. All of a sudden, it was just like,
the
score's
fucking
playing.
music. It's like, shit. I guess we're on.
We're on. I was in the middle.
4 warnings.
I know, but I was in the middle of tweeting from the New Age Insiders account.
I'm still in, like, mental breakdown after watching the 1987 aerobics
Crystal Light
Aerobics National Championship.
You hurt my brain.
First of all, it's amazing, and you know it.
Well, it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
Everything with television's Alan Thicke is amazing.
It's like being high without getting high.
That was exactly it. It's also Jason's favorite thing in the world, and if you want to see him cackle like a jackal, cackle like a
spider monkey,
like a spider monkey, just put that
like
on.
A jackal.
It was so funny because
you're just begging for dice to come back.
Oh god, oh god, no, please, God, no.
Hey, there was at least one person on Twitter that liked it.
Yeah,
one.
One. That's good. Last night we were watching some sort of Toy Story short, right?
Yeah, it was like a Tower of Terror or something.
Oh, yeah. From a few years ago.
Yeah, from a few years ago. So we were watching that, and the most innocuous joke happened with Mr. Potato Head, where he's like talking to his arm because he's like, "You and I were never," like he like lost his arm at some point in the little short, and he's like, "We're never gonna get separated ever again." And then they're in the back of a car, and the car hits a bump, and his entire body just flies out, and Jason just starts laughing hysterically, like it was the funniest thing that is ever funny, and so we're like, well, we're going to take this opportunity to further the hilarity, and Bill turns on YouTube and turns on the 1987.
Now, had he ever seen it?
He had seen it.
Okay.
So
I'm the only one that didn't know what the hell this was.
Well, to be fair, they had not seen it.
Like, that was a pretty specific search criteria you were going for.
Well, yeah, right. And so
it wasn't like, I'm just going to go down an Alan Thicke wormhole tonight. No, it was like 1980, not the 86 one. Fuck that.
Yeah.
The 87 Crystal Light Aerobics.
National Aerobics Championship.
There was a video that came out a couple years ago when Taylor Swift's Shake It Off came out.
All right.
And it was a video of that competition set to Shake It Off.
And it syncs up beautifully.
That went viral, and then the original video started going viral.
Right.
See?
And so I had seen both of those, and then we went and saw the Lego Batman movie.
Okay.
At which I laughed. We were in a packed theater.
I love that movie.
We were in a packed theater, and I laughed at so much stuff that just went over the entire audience's head. Like, the first line in the movie is like, MacGuffin Airline.
Yep.
And I start dying laughing, and everybody's looking at me like I'm the asshole.
No. Who does the Lego movies? I know they're...
I think it's Lego.
No. I mean the directors, because I know they've done stuff that's like... Basically what I'm trying to say is, it's kind of almost geared for adults in a kid's atmosphere.
It is. I mean, I can't speak to the Ninjago movie.
Phil Lord and Christopher Miller.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so it's geared far more towards adults, and there's a lot more adult references in both the Lego movie and the Batman Lego movie. But the end of the movie, there's a big, giant dance sequence, and I'm dying laughing because it's the 1987 Crystal Light Aerobics National Championship.
In the Lego Batman.
In Lego Batman.
Movie, yeah.
So it's a different song.
Yeah.
It's a different song, but they're doing that dance, and I'm dying laughing. And everybody that I'm with, these two, they're just like, what? Why the hell are you laughing so hard? And I go, it's the Crystal Light National Championship aerobics thing.
And little did he know.
And they were like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. So we got back to the house. I put it on, and Jay just laughed
and
for
you just
days.
melted their brains.
Yeah. And so now whenever we need to like perpetuate laughter, that's how we do
those
it.
Those are the guys that did the 21 Jump Street reboots.
Yeah, which I also the 21 Jump Street movies and 21 and 22.
Yeah.
That also had movies, points in that movie where I'm the only person in a packed theater laughing. In 22 Jump Street, there is a sequence where they're in front of this. It's a huge wide
We'll get
shot.
to Good Will Hunting in a minute.
Yeah, we'll get to Good Will Hunting. We'll also introduce what this is in a minute. But there's a huge giant building, and they all run from one side of the building to the other, and then they chase the people that were chasing are now being chased going the other way.
Yep.
And it's the Benjamin Hill Film Institute.
That I picked up. Yeah.
And I laughed so hard, and everybody's just like, "Why?
Why?
That's not that funny."
No.
No, it is.
It is.
It is. It is that funny.
And later I will show you why. Mind blown.
Yep.
That I did pick up on
so
that
was that.
Yeah.
So are we ready to actually intro
Why
the
not?
show?
Welcome into that movie show.
Yay!
Mike Wendt, Liam Stryker.
We did.
And today we are taking a look at the 1997, basically like
Boston
you said,
classic.
Boston. Arguably the best Boston movie.
Arguably. I think we talked about this when we talked about The Departed.
Yes.
That it was kind of between those two.
Yes.
In terms of the best Boston movie.
Academy Award winning.
Yep. Launched the careers of Ben
Very much
Affleck
so,
and Matt Damon.
Begrudgingly to most.
Yeah, begrudgingly.
We'll get there, but begrudgingly to most. Yes, and Good Will Hunting.
Yep.
How you like them apples? We're doing Good Will Hunting.
Yes, we are. It's time for. If you look at the Wikipedia, the first line of the Wikipedia is a movie about a 21-year-old Will Hunting of South Boston. Does
it say 21?
Yeah, it's
Okay, well, they're already wrong.
20-year-old.
He was 20.
20 years
turned
old.
21 at the end of the movie.
Sorry, it says 20-year-old
All
Will
right.
Hunting of South Boston.
I'm arguing with Wikipedia.
Is a self-taught genius.
Of course he is.
And a janitor at MIT.
You don't really teach genius, though.
Yeah, I don't know how you're a self-taught genius.
I mean, he just reads books.
Yeah, he's...
And as he says, I just kind of remember things. That's the worst
Yeah.
throwaway how he's so smart, is not even explored.
Yes.
It's just like, I just remember things.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on.
Sure, we don't know how genius works.
Right.
So, sure.
Which is funny because he wrote it.
Yeah, right. That's the funniest thing.
And he went to Harvard. Matt Damon went
Yes.
to fucking Harvard. So he's not a dummy.
No.
He's not Ben Affleck, if you would.
Right. Ben Affleck, he's a guy. he's just a guy.
He is.
He's a guy. This movie was released December 5th, 1997.
Yep.
From the Miramax films.
Yeah, it's not going to... There's parts of this conversation that are not going to age well, but we have to have them.
Yeah.
Basically, and let's just get it right out of the way, the only reason this movie was made was because of Harvey Weinstein.
Correct.
Say what you will. Okay, the man was a film kind of genius.
Right.
Terrible person. Probably the worst
Yeah.
person on the planet.
Yeah, that's the type of thing that we have to have in this conversation where it's
Yes.
like Harvey Weinstein is responsible for a lot of innovation in the
A lot
film.
of ours and your favorite movies.
Because Miramax, he took the shot on Tarantino.
Yep.
Right? And so we don't get Quentin Tarantino, who is one of the most revolutionary filmmakers and kind of broke the studio system. And
Yep.
I'm not going to get into that.
We'll get into that when we do Hateful Eight.
Yeah, right, when we do that. But, kind of broke up the studio system and showed that independent films could make money
And win a shitload of awards.
Right, and it can be a very viable alternative to a tentpole studio film.
Yeah.
And Harvey Weinstein was very, very important to that.
He was the man behind that.
But he's also a terrible person.
Terrible human being. He was a horrible, horrible man. But yeah, I watched, because I got the 15th anniversary Blu-ray of Good Will Hunting. And on it is an amazing just sit-down conversation with many of the people involved. Right. Like a whole retrospective. It's probably over an hour long. It was definitely filmed when Ben was doing Argo, based on his beard and shitty hair.
He looked like he was living in the 70s.
It was like, wow, dude, you couldn't have put a hat on for this. It's very distracting from your great stories. But yeah, it was Matt and Ben sitting down doing a conversation. There was Robin Williams doing a conversation. Chris Moore, the director. Come on, help me out.
The director?
Gus Van Sant.
Gus Van Sant.
And a couple other people were involved in the conversation. It's just really, really eye-opening stuff about mostly how the movie got made. Kevin Smith was obviously involved, and he's basically as influential in getting this film made as Harvey Weinstein is. Kevin Smith is right next to him.
Yes.
Because basically he was the one that told Harvey Weinstein, you need to read this script.
Yeah.
Like, it hadn't even got there yet. Originally, the script was sold to Castle Rock, and Rob Reiner was the one behind it. He bought it. And it was kind of just sitting in movie purgatory.
Yeah.
And they sold it for an exorbitant amount. I want to say $200,000. Like, it was a lot of money to sell a script, and that was something that kept coming up in these conversations. But one of the caveats to selling the script, and basically the whole reason they wrote the script, was they had to be the actors in it.
Okay, yeah.
They sold it with the asterisk. Yeah, well, when it gets made, we have to play these parts.
Yeah,
these are the parts we wrote for ourselves.
Right.
Which obviously coming up, the only thing that they were really known for was School Ties at that point. Another Boston movie, by the way.
Yeah. I think Chasing Amy had already come out.
No. Way back.
Oh yeah, right. Oh yeah, when they sold
the script.
Yes.
Yes. So
School Ties.
School Ties was really it. And they were living. It was funny because not only, and this wasn't part of the deal, but when they were writing it, like, they were living with Cole Hauser.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, yeah, you're playing this part. So they were already kind of casting it way back in the School Ties days.
Yeah, right.
And it got shopped around a lot. There was a lot of things that were changed and rewritten, and they were writing a script that they felt Hollywood would make. They weren't specifically writing, it wasn't like a wildly personal story, the original script.
Right.
There was parts of it. The movie we got was the personal side of it.
Yes.
But because they were trying to launch their careers and get this thing sold.
Right. They were just trying to make something that Hollywood would be like, yeah, we can make this.
Which enters a giant portion, almost 65 pages of the script, that were dedicated to Will having this weird CIA conspiracy, like, action-adventure, sci-fi type of element to it. That part of that was taken out with the Rob Reiner advice.
Yeah.
But then it kept getting shopped around. And there was one thing in there that I found hilarious, and the fact that they actually brought it up in this long, I guess documentary-ish, whatever, the special feature on the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
The fact that in the middle of the script, there was one scene with Sean, the therapist, and Will, where Sean blows Will.
Yeah.
They have a blowjob scene. They put a blowjob scene in the middle of the script, and they did it because they weren't sure anybody was reading their script.
Yeah.
And it finally, through, Kevin Smith and all this other stuff, finally gets to Harvey Weinstein. And he had one note, because at this point, all the CIA shit had really been taken out.
Yeah,
it was the movie we were getting.
This was 15 drafts later.
Yes. And he literally comes back to me, he goes, love every part of it, just take the blowjob scene out.
Yeah.
Fuck, he read it.
He read it. The funny part about that is we later got that kind of brought up in Entourage.
Right.
The show Entourage, they talk about that because...
Which I'm sure came straight from this story.
Yeah, because Vince gets this script, and it's an independent script, and this independent director is like, really hot.
Was this Medellin?
I believe so.
This is Medellin.
This is Medellin, yeah. And so that's the big bugaboo is that Vince is like, I love this movie, but there's this blowjob scene, and I don't want to do it. And they go back and forth, and finally he's like, fine, I'll do it. And the director reveals that the blowjob scene was just, oh, you need to trust me.
Yeah.
And so, that's kind of what...
It's got to come right from that.
It's got to come right from that, because the elements are
And I mean, Matt
similar.
Damon actually showed up on Entourage a bunch.
Right. He hated Ari?
Well, he was a very intense version of Matt Damon.
Yeah.
And he was all about the water.
Yeah, that's right.
All about water.
Yeah.
And he was muscling Vince into giving money to water.
Yeah.
That was his biggest thing, just scaring everybody, which I kind of loved. And we don't want to go down an Entourage rabbit hole, but when the actors would come on and play kind of psycho versions, Armie Hammer did it too, I think, in the movie.
I never saw the movie.
But he played this psycho version. It's like, it's really good.
Yeah.
Like, I know that's not the real person, but
it's a lot of fun.
But it's a lot of fun. It's almost what Matt LeBlanc has done on Episodes.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
a great
Showtime show. Love that show. But back to Good Will Hunting. So we get there, and the process of getting this made, even with Miramax, wasn't as smooth as just, okay, go do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Originally,
they wanted Brad Pitt.
They wanted Brad Pitt and
Leo to be everybody. And
Yep.
so that would have been a very different movie.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, you think about it and you look at this
Who
movie.
would play who, do you think?
I would have said that DiCaprio would have played Will.
Almost has to, right?
Has to, right?
Brad Pitt has to be the dumb friend.
Yeah.
You know, in 1997, let's think where Brad Pitt was. I mean,
did he do Meet Joe Black?
I don't know. In 97, I mean, he had done what year was True Romance?
True Romance was 95.
Okay,
I think.
So let's see, Brad Pitt in 97. But yeah, they wanted Brad and Leo.
Yeah, but I mean, clearly DiCaprio just kind of fits into that same role as.
Which again brings us right back to Departed, because Brad Pitt was supposed to be in that.
Right.
Felt he wouldn't fit and stayed on as a producer.
Right, I think that he just...
Leo and Matt were flip-flopping which one was going to play, basically, that character.
So instead, so this is before Meet Joe Black.
Okay.
Brad Pitt has done Interview with a Vampire, True Romance.
Had he done Angelina Jolie yet?
Yes.
Okay.
No. And so this year he releases 7 Years in Tibet.
Ah.
And so, yeah, I think he would have played the dumb friend, because I don't think that he would have... I don't think
he would have been able to pull off Will Hunting, really.
Right. He wouldn't. Well, and he wasn't.
Especially in the context of that movie.
Right. And up until that point, he wasn't because 7 Years in Tibet, Meet Joe Black, those two movies kind of transform him into the suave movie star that he is. So, yeah, he would have been the dumb friend, and DiCaprio would have been young savant Will Hunting.
True Romance was 93.
Yeah.
I got to do that one. That's one of my favorites.
It's a very fun movie.
It's a great movie. But he's coming off The Devil's Own in 97. Sleepers, actually, he was in 96. So, yeah, he would be the dumb friend, I think.
He would have been the dumb friend.
And I think he plays a dumb friend fine. He's done it in the Ocean's movies.
Right. He would have been great.
Yeah.
He would have been great in that role.
Now, granted, I can't see them, if those two are cast, them putting it in Boston.
No, and this is also a very different movie.
Oh, absolutely.
If those two. I think that...
Because whatever personal touches the movie had are gone.
Right. One, the fact that Damon and Affleck wrote it...
Yep.
They know what they're trying to get across, and their performances definitely show that, right? Because they built this from the ground up, so now...
They've lived with this now. At this point, I think they sold... It was right after... Again, I just closed IMDb, but it was right around... just past school ties when they actually started writing it, so it had been almost 10 years.
Right. And if DiCaprio and Pitt come in there, they're embodying these characters and kind of hearing the story secondhand as opposed to really knowing what they wanted. The other thing too is that maybe, looking back, we all know who DiCaprio and Pitt are, and we didn't really know who Damon and Affleck were.
Not at all.
So you are able to get lost.
It was Kevin Smith's friends.
Right. You're able to get lost in the story because you don't have these recognizable faces.
Right.
Because the most recognizable person in the movie is Robin Williams, who's at that point doing a 180 from what you're expected of Robin Williams.
Well, he had a beard, so it was clearly serious Robin Williams.
Right, it was.
That was how you could tell.
That is how you could tell. But even then, I mean, this was a very new thing for Robin Williams.
Robin was actually brought on because his niece, and this is actually part of why the movie why Harvey Weinstein went in on it, was because Matt Damon had made The Rainmaker.
Okay.
And Robin Williams' niece was working as a PA on The Rainmaker, and they were still trying to get the script sold from Castle Rock. So that Castle Rock had it, but wasn't going to make it with them. Yeah. And they needed to, they was getting to that point where they're like, we need to fucking make this now. So she kind of coached Robin like, give this a look. And then also his manager started sending it to him. And then when Harvey heard that he was working on The Rainmaker, he's like, oh, well, that's a Grisham fucking... No, those things make a ton of money. This kid must be good. Right. And then he also started, he's in Courage Under Fire, et cetera, et cetera. He started to kind of learn who Matt Damon was.
Right.
And then when he read the script, again, like I said, it was just blown away. Originally attached to direct and play the role of Sean, the therapist, Mel Gibson.
Yeah,
and Mel was attached for a while.
Yeah.
Almost to the point the movie didn't get made because he was attached to it. So basically, and this was a story that Chris Moore, the producer, was telling about how proud he was of Matt for taking a stand on it. Because Mel Gibson loved it, wanted to do it, wanted to play Sean. But he had a few other things that he wanted to do first.
Yeah.
And
Passion of the Christ.
Well, basically, what was happening was, and they all knew it, that Harvey and Miramax would have waited for Mel Gibson forever.
Yeah.
So if Mel Gibson's attached, I mean, Braveheart, all that shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Mel Gibson at that point.
He wasn't Mel Gibson that we know now.
Right. He was the box office draw.
You know, he wasn't Sugar Tits Mel Gibson yet.
No, he was Lethal Weapon Braveheart Mel Gibson.
A fucking Oscar-winning director.
Yeah.
So they were willing to wait for him, and it got to a point where it was coming towards the end of the year, and Matt basically said in a meeting with Mel Gibson, it was Matt, Ben, Chris Moore, Mel Gibson, Harvey Weinstein, and Matt just kind of stood up and was like, look, we're getting too fucking old to play these characters. If you're not going to do it, I respect, everything, but if you're not going to do it, just walk away because Harvey will wait for you forever.
Right.
And we can't wait. We want to make this tomorrow.
Right.
So he said, give me through the holidays, and then finally January came around. He's like, I can't do it. So here we go. Taking myself off. Next one attached.
I wish it was Kevin Smith, but it's
Michael
not.
Mann.
Really?
Yep. Mr. Miami Vice himself, Michael Mann,
Ooh.
who immediately after reading the script said, I'm going to change these guys to carjackers.
Oh, no.
Didn't believe in Matt Damon, so he had to shoot test footage with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck as carjackers, which I believe probably prompted Ben to make The Town.
Yeah, probably.
But it was like a carjacking Michael Mann-ish type of movie that he was going to make. And again, just conflicts didn't work. Creative differences, et cetera, didn't work. So they finally went back to who Matt and Ben originally wanted, which was Gus Van Sant.
Yeah.
And they went back to him. Gus had done
Drugstore Cowboy, My Own Private Idaho.
Yep.
And then I think those are the big ones.
The one that he had done, I believe, the most recent, and which really kind of put him on their radar as far as wanting him to direct, was the Nicole Kidman movie To Die For. He had done that in 95, and he had worked with Casey Affleck.
Right.
And that was kind of him, and so Gus Van Sant and Matt Damon were basically the driving force behind Casey Affleck finally making the decision to, because he was going to college. He wasn't going to be in this movie. He didn't know if he wanted to act or not, but he wanted to go to college, et cetera, et cetera. And they're like, you're really good at this, and you should probably think about it.
For a while, the better Affleck.
Yeah, exactly. Until, whatever. But he had done that, so they kind of sat him down and like, look, we want you in this movie. This part is obviously for you, but you have to kind of make a decision.
Right.
And he did. And, probably for the better.
Yeah.
Going to college or being a movie star, I don't know. I'd go the other way.
Yeah. Far less debt.
So we finally get there. Of course, Kevin Smith and Scott Mosier attach themselves as producers. Lawrence Bender, of course, we all know from working with Tarantino forever.
Yep.
He's attached as a producer, and we are off and running with Matt and Ben in the movie. Robin Williams is signed on. They got Minnie Driver to sign on.
So many.
And we are off.
Yep.
Get us into Good Will Hunting.
So the funniest part about this is that this is like a notorious Boston movie.
Yes.
And they did a lot of the filming in Toronto.
Yep.
Which is nonsensical. And if you ever want to hear my diatribe about how pissy I get about filming things in Boston,
okay,
it kind of all starts here, where it's just like, if you're going to make the movie here. Don't half-ass it.
Well, also how you started, this was kind of the one that put Boston on the map as a filming city. So at the time,
right,
financially, it wasn't feasible to do it in Boston.
Right, it wasn't. It was
there
far
wasn't
too
all
expensive.
the tax breaks and all the bullshit. So doing it in Toronto made especially a movie that's so independent like this.
Yeah, right. Just it's going to be a lot cheaper. A lot cheaper. So. So basically when we start this movie, we start it as 20-year-old Will Hunting, and he's working as a janitor at MIT. He's just cleaning up stuff, but there is a professor that posts a crazy difficult equation.
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
I don't understand it. I don't begin...
I know I'm not supposed to.
Right.
But those weren't even numbers.
Yeah.
They were lines and dots.
Yeah.
Someone smarter than us tweet at Mike Wendt at Liam NEI. Let us know what the fuck kind of equation those are. I'm sure I could Google it, but I'm lazy.
Yeah, sure.
That's your job.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
We're doing this. You do that.
Yeah, you do the math.
You do the Googling.
Look, here's the deal. I went to art school. I don't know how to do math.
Right.
I can tell you how I feel about it.
Oh my God.
But I can't do it.
I was sidebar for a second.
That's been this whole show.
It was the funniest thing when I finally got into radio, realizing how much fucking math there was. I'm like, I thought I should just play music and talk about dicks and stuff. What the fuck is?
Yeah, what
is this back time? I gotta tell time. I'm not good at that.
Yeah,
like I gotta count like seconds, and I don't have any fucking fingers left.
Yeah, damn it.
This is a job I'm supposed to like sleep through. Come on. Anyway, moving.
Yeah, so
I don't do math.
So the MIT professor posts this very, very difficult equation on this board, and is just like, you all solve this. And then while Will's mopping the floor, he just looks at it and goes, oh yeah, I got this.
Piece of cake.
Yeah, piece of cake. NBD. And so the professor gets so mad. He gets so mad that somebody solved it and then won't say who it is, that he just does another one that's even crazier. And I think he solves that one too, right? Is that correct?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so that's kind of what ends up...
It took him and his colleagues, 2 years?
Right.
To put together?
Yes.
To basically make this equation?
Yeah. And he solved it in an afternoon?
He just, he looks at it for a couple seconds as he's mopping. And you're like, okay, cool. Goes home. And I get it. It was shot to be artsy.
Yeah.
But what the fuck's with the dry erase markers on the mirror?
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, and he's doing out the whole thing. He's got an entire mirror full of writing. And as soon as he gets to the last portion of mirror, looks at it for a second and then wipes it off.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, no.
You don't want to fuck it, whatever, dude. Why'd you write it out if you already knew it?
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
And so then...
But we all know it was meant, so when they have their little Oscar thing, that's the title card right there.
Yeah, right. That's he's drawing
Good
on the
Will
thing.
Hunting.
Good Will Hunting. So the professor catches him solving the equation.
Yes. Thinks he's graffitiing.
Yes, he thinks he's graffitiing at first, but then realizes that he actually understood it and that he had solved it, and he was the person that solved the other one as well.
And in classic Will Hunting fashion, as he's walking away, hey, you, come back here. Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself.
By the way, I will say, as we talk about whether or not this is the best Boston movie, it's definitely the best Boston accent movie.
Yeah, but it's because people that are from here.
Yeah, but you say that.
Yeah, that's true.
And Dennis Leary can't do one.
No, he can't.
And I love Dennis Leary, but if you ever see movie 2F by C, I don't recommend it, but if you see it, he does a terrible Boston accent.
Damon's was terrible in The Departed too.
Yeah, see, it's like if
he wasted it all on this one.
Yeah, he had so many credits in Boston accents, and he's like, no, I wasted them all.
Yeah,
you're gonna get my bootleg version.
Yeah, you gotta get the bootleg version.
So he gets chased off, and
ends up at a bar.
Stellan Skarsgard realizes with his boy.
Yeah,
little odd relationship there, but whatever. It's 2018, we can't judge.
Yeah,
and he realizes that, holy shit, this guy solved it. It's fucking right.
Yeah.
And now he's like backtrack, like, holy shit, he solved the other one.
Yeah, right. Because nobody in the class did.
Who is this genius janitor?
Yeah, who is this savant janitor? He ends up at a bar.
As you do.
Where he meets the British student, Skylar, who's very out of place.
Oh, so we're already at the Harvard bar.
Yeah, it's a Harvard bar.
It's a Harvard. We're gonna go fuck up some smart kids.
Yeah, they're gonna go fuck up some smart kids.
Again, even Ben's accent was fantastic. I just typed good bar. I can't type and talk at the same time.
Good bar. It's a wicked good bar. Oh, this is a Harvard bar. I figured we go.
So have we already gotten to, or did we skip over the fight with the kid who bullied him in kindergarten?
I think that's what happens at the bar, right?
No. That's in the park. Remember, so they go to Kelly's because Morgan, played by Casey Affleck, likes the takeout girl.
Yeah,
so they drive 20 minutes out of their way. What the fuck are we going to do? We don't get 20 minutes? Go to fucking Kelly's. Okay, so again, a lot of local references that we really laugh at.
Yeah,
it's
right.
like in Mystic River in the opening scene when they get an accident on the Tobin, the guy's like, he's been fucking tailgating me from Linfield. I'm like, hey,
I know where that is.
I grew up there.
I know where that is in relationship to this position.
Exactly. So they go to Kelly's, and they get the whole Morgan putting the sandwich on layaway. He wants his double burger, and of course, Ben Affleck's driving. He takes the burger, puts it on the thing. He's like, "We'll put it on layaway, like your mother bought your couch." You come here, you give me 10 cents every fucking week. At the end of the week, you can get your fucking burger.
Yeah, right.
So then they're driving past the park because they saw this guy, the Italian guy, which with the most Italian name ever that I'm gonna pull up in 2 seconds when I can type. but they see him at the Little League game. Remember?
Right.
The four of them being, I guess, I don't know, creepy-ish, watching a Little League game and really knowing the players.
Yeah.
None of them being dads.
Yeah, it's weird.
You know? Come on, McIntyre. Fucking dig it out there, kid.
Yeah. Is one of you the coach?
But then again, I want to say the kid's name was like Scaramouche. No, that was Trump's guy. That's Trump's guy. But
He
it was
follows me.
Just
he
as
follows
Italian.
Me on
of course
Twitter.
he does. He knows this show's great.
Yeah. Scaramouche.
So they see him at the Little League game. Again, he looks like he's on a date, which is fucking weird.
And the whole thing is weird.
The whole Little League thing is weird. But then they go to Kelly's and they're driving by a park and you see for since I don't have it up on my phone, we'll say Scaramucci. And they see him and his boys walking by the park. And Will's like, "Oh, let's fuck him up because he bullied me in kindergarten."
Yes.
Okay, cool. But again, people listening outside of Boston, it's a very Boston thing.
It is a very
like
Boston
watching this.
thing.
I'm like, yeah, that's I know people like that.
Yeah,
that hold those grudges.
Yeah, he bullied me in kindergarten.
We're 20 years ago.
Yeah,
he bullied me. Yeah,
let's go fight him.
Let's go fight him. And of course, Morgan, he's like, we got fucking snacks. We're not gonna fight. He's like, no, you gotta fucking fight him.
Yeah.
And again, this whole car ride, very Boston.
Yeah, right. And it very much sets up the dichotomy of Will, right? Because on the one hand, he's so smart that he can solve these very, very complex equations that are at MIT, but he's also very, very ingrained in the South Boston street tough culture, and that's the push and pull
and you know
of
what,
this
though?
entire movie.
That's another reason I feel that the accents in this movie are so much better than any other Boston movie, because what they did more than anything else is really got the attitude behind the accent.
Right.
Anybody can drop an R.
Yeah, anybody can say "ka,"
but it was the lack of fucks that they give behind almost everything they say.
Right, and that's the thing, is that there's no passion behind some of these movies.
There's a fine line between ball breaking and we're fighing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's just the friends in the car.
Yeah, right. That's just the friends in the car. Yeah, so they end up fighting the guys.
Yep.
Then they go to the bar.
Will hits a cop.
Yeah, Will hits a cop.
And has one of the greatest fucking court scenes ever, where he's, what was the league? The guy's just reading down his rap sheet.
Right.
Impersonating an officer. Mayhem.
Yeah.
Who gets arrested for mayhem?
Mayhem.
By the way, the judge was part of Whitey Bulger's gang in real life.
Oh, really? Of course he was.
He was. I want to say something Flynn. I want to say Jimmy Flynn was the actor's name. I swear to God.
Yeah, sure. No, I would assume so.
And so then, yes, he gets bailed out by
the professor. Right, but the part of the thing is that he has to participate in therapy sessions.
Correct.
That's how we get introduced to Mr. Robin Williams.
Correct. And yeah, I do think we're jumping around.
We did because
he already knows Skylar.
Yeah, he already knows
calls
her
her from jail.
Right. And so the reason why...
So let's get back to the bar.
Yeah, so they go to the bar and
we were trying to get there the whole time and I fucked this all up.
Yeah, the douchey guy ends up... They talk back and forth. The thing about apples, I forget the setup for the apples.
So we're in the bar. Ben Affleck's trying to hit on either Skylar or her friend, whoever really,
shows interest.
Turns to him. Yeah. So he's talking and we meet Ponytail.
Right.
And Ponytail starts just being way smarter.
An
way
affluent,
smarter.
douchey guy.
Yes.
And so Will shuts his ass down.
Now again, while it's a great scene,
yes,
this is part of the movie where I feel, and I understand why they did it, because they have to tell a story. It can't just be straight up Boston attitude, the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
But this is where the Boston part of it kind of departs, if you will.
Oh, fun.
Because this guy, the guy who steals the movie is Cole Hauser.
Yeah.
For me. And because I have a friend who is him.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. He's the guy who's asleep in the bar one minute and punching a guy in the face the next for almost no reason.
Yeah, right.
Almost no reason.
Right.
But he will completely justify it. So when Affleck starts getting basically talked down to by this guy. At
a Harvard bar.
At a Harvard bar with a lot of Labatt signs.
Yeah. Very, very, very.
And Affleck's like, because he was just trying to hit on the girls. And he's like, oh, yeah, what was that class? History. It was history, something like that.
Yeah, right.
And Affleck's basically like, but, if you got a problem or something like that. And the guy's like, Cole Hauser would have fucking barreled through and punched him in the face without thinking twice. There would have been no God and Wood or any of that shit. It would have just been a brawl.
Yes.
That would have ended. But okay, moving on.
Well, because we have to have Will come in and show his intellect.
Correct. And then win her over.
Okay. Because that's what ends up happening is he comes in and he starts talking about different works of famous literature and basically just shuts the guy down, being like, you're not as smart as you think you are.
Yeah, you could have got your entire education for $1.25 in late fees at a public library.
Right.
Good job.
Yeah.
So
that's such a great line.
Yeah, exactly. So the guys go back to their beers. Minnie Driver and her friend still at the other end of the bar. She's getting ready to leave. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is it's one of the greatest ad libs I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And that is what Casey Affleck brings to this movie is just fantastic inside jokey ad libs.
Yeah.
So Skylar's walking up, and he's telling this story about a heavy-set girl saying, I got a receding hairline, I gotta go fuck herself. And all of a sudden, he looks over and sees Skylar kind of grilling him, and he's like, I swallowed a bug. Walks away.
Yeah.
Now, where the I swallowed a bug line, Liam, do you know?
No, I do not.
Okay. Now, there is a great documentary on the making of Apocalypse Now called Hearts of Darkness.
Oh, okay. I have heard of this.
And in Marlon Brando's close-ups, he's got mud covered all over him. He's doing all these takes. He's doing the horror, that whole scene.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, he actually swallowed a bug, and he looks at the camera and goes, I swallowed a bug. That's the fucking... And only if you knew that movie would you be like, wow, that kid is inside. Okay, that is a really inside reference. So then they exchange numbers.
Yep. And leads to one of the best lines in the movie.
Iconic.
From the window, knocks on the window to douchey sweater guy.
Do you like apples?
Do you like apples? What?
Yeah.
Do you like apples? I got a number. How you like them apples?
Yep, exactly. And that line has been repeated and spoofed and parodied countless times in however many, what has it been, 30 years now?
Yes.
97? Holy shit.
Yeah. Woo!
Wow.
Yikes. Okay.
I just made us all feel old.
20
years. Okay, I feel a little better about myself. All right.
Yeah, 97 to 2007, 2007 to 2017.
Again, math, motherfucker.
Yeah, 20 years.
All right, moving on.
I mean, it's still 2 decades.
Yes. All right, so we kind of flip-flopped the scenery a bit. So let's get right back to meeting Sean, who's played by Robin Williams.
Yep, so he's got a court-appointed therapist.
5 of them.
Yeah, right, because he goes through a bunch of them and he doesn't want
in the best way possible.
Yes.
Like having gone through a number of rounds of therapy myself, loved every part of that.
Yeah.
Because yes, most of them are full of shit.
Yeah.
And they're really not going to help you.
No.
Until you find the one that will. I'm not saying that therapists are all bullshit, but
you
have to click.
Right. Well, that's part of it is it's less about, like, in theory, there's a base level of knowledge that every psychiatrist has, and because they went to school for it, right? So they all have
the
that
starter kit.
But it's where they speak to you.
Right.
Because you're not just talking at them. They're trying to help solve your problems.
Right.
And so, finally he finds Sean, and they click in a very adversarial way.
In a very Boston way. Because they're both from the neighborhood.
Right. And
Genius from Southie.
I love this. I love this because Robin Williams really, up until that point, has just been known for the funny.
Yeah.
Right? He hasn't really dove in. Like, the most serious thing he had done was the year before, and it was Jack.
He had done, what was it, The Fisher King? He had done
Dead Poets Society.
I mean, he dips his toe into drama when he feels he wants an award.
Right.
I always felt that was how he chose his roles. It's like, all right, I'm gonna do the funny because that's gonna make me some money. I'm gonna do Aladdin because that's gonna make me a shitload of money.
Right. Like,
and then I'm gonna do my award movie.
Well, it's funny because I'm pretty sure that in the span of these 3 years, it was like,
and it works because he won for Best Supporting Actor this year. By the way,
for
Good Will Hunting.
I think he wins. I think this year he did the third Aladdin movie that was direct to VHS. Jack, and
he sued them for something over that, I believe.
Which one?
Aladdin.
So there's something weird, and I don't know exactly what it is, but there's no, like, they don't allow him to be on, like, what is it? Friend Like Me? That song isn't anywhere. Like, you can't get that anywhere. Bill,
he
do you know?
owns some sort of rights to the character, I believe.
I think that has been since cleared.
Okay.
I think because Robin Williams is featured in the new Castle show.
Okay.
So I think that's been since cleared. But you're right. Prince Ali and Friend Like Me, you couldn't listen to them on any of the streaming services.
Yeah. So I knew that was a thing, but
I want to say that movie you're talking about, the straight to DVD one, I want to say they were trying to build it out of outtakes, and he sued them for some reason. Like, he didn't actually go in and record.
Oh, really?
I want to say I heard that story.
Well,
I could be completely wrong.
Well, because he did the first one.
Yes.
And then he wasn't in the second one.
Correct.
And so in the third one, the big selling point was that he was back. So, yeah, I would have...
Maybe he did. Maybe it was the second one he sued them over or something like that.
Yeah,
he's got an uncredited voice on Aladdin on Ice in '95.
Oh, weird.
A TV.
Interesting.
It's called a TV movie, but
but it's Aladdin on Ice.
It's Aladdin on Ice. Can we find that somewhere, Bill? We're gonna watch that later.
We can go to TD Garden this week and go watch
whole
Disney
new
on Ice.
world on Ice. Yeah,
sure. Let's go to.
Actually, you know what? I think that's exactly what it is. So it is. It's for an all live. So it is for Disney on Ice.
Yeah.
The thing we're thinking of. So he must have just done voice shit for the production.
Yeah.
And they must have just kind of wheeled a big genie out onto the ice.
Probably.
Guessing. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair fucks. Moving on.
Sure.
But yeah, he, up until that point, let's see, 97. I mean, he's done, like, he's not a slouch as far as an actor. Even, so let's see, he's got, Fisher King under his belt. We mentioned Dead Poet Society. Despite how goofy it is, Hook was a kind of a success.
I loved Hook.
It made money. Toys he did, and it was all right.
Can we do Toys on this?
Why not? Fuck it. We need to start doing some bad movies, by the way. We've
Right.
done some great fucking movies.
I mean, yeah.
We're kind of cheating a little bit here.
Yeah,
we're making it way too easy on ourselves.
Can we do Kung Pao Enter the Fist next?
Well, I do have an idea. We'll get to it at the end of the show.
Right. Sure.
So he did Aladdin 92, Mrs. Doubtfire 93. He had a great appearance, if you haven't seen it, on the Larry Sanders Show.
No.
Oh, my God. That show in itself, we could do a whole fucking side episode on. But, yeah, he was great in that. Did... what else? Jumanji had already come out.
Okay. That's right.
Birdcage had already come out.
I love Birdcage.
Jack had already come out.
Jack made me so sad.
And then, he did Good Will Hunting, 97. And then followed it up in 97 with fucking Flubber.
Oh, I remember seeing that
movie. And his
movie.
legacy in Flubber is having a picture in the Figment ride at Disney World, which is probably closed by now. Because most things at Epcot are.
Yeah, because they're just redesigning the whole thing.
Yeah.
And nobody cares about. Well, it's going to be Epcot.
As long as I can still get shit faced and go on test track, I'm good.
Epcot is going to be epic in like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
because they're building the largest indoor roller coaster.
Oh yeah,
there.
The Guardians one.
The Guardians Galaxy.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
I hope it's 45 minutes like Ellen's Universe Energy Adventure.
Just to pay tribute.
It's
a 45-minute. Oh my God, that would be awesome and also nauseating.
Oh yeah, you'd go on it once.
It's the largest indoor roller coaster, and it's 45 minutes long.
Yeah.
You are guaranteed to puke.
Yes, you are. The amount of flips and dips and turns.
And there's only like 3 rides per day because of the cleanup after every fucking ride.
Right, yeah, right. They got to look. Here's the thing. You'll go on it once.
Right.
Just to say you did it.
Exactly.
But
where are we in the movie, by the way?
So we're starting to get
so lost.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I know. So Sean and Will are getting to know each other. Will they connect over the fact that Sean met his wife and gave up tickets to the World Series.
Well, that's a little deeper into the movie because their first meeting, Will's just doing what he does, which is, poking, prodding, trying to find that weakness in it. So he's going through all his books and he's going through, his backstory. Yeah,
because he doesn't
and
want
then
to
he
be
sees
there.
this little painting on the wall. He's like, oh yeah, did you paint it? Oh yeah, it's whatever. He references some old painter or something like that. Right. And he's still poking and prodding. He's like, oh yeah, maybe he did something, and he became a therapist. He's like, boom, got it. And then he throws out, well, maybe you married the wrong woman. Watch your fucking mouth. Got him.
Yeah, right.
And you can see on Will's face, he's like, fucking got him.
Yeah.
And he just dives headfirst into the wife shit.
Yeah.
Until Robin Williams, Mr. Funny Man, goes real fucking scary, real fucking quick.
Yes.
And it's the best kind of scary because he's not yelling.
Right.
He grabs him by the throat.
Right.
And just quietly is like, I will fucking end you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not, I'm going to fuck you.
Yeah, right.
Almost what we talked about in Get Out.
Right.
Where it's that calm psychotic that it's like, wow.
Yes. Yeah, and that really kind of strikes a chord from the performance. I mean, that's it's easy to get angry.
Oh yeah.
It's easy to yell. But you know it's real when you're so mad you can't raise your voice.
Right.
And
it's
that's
so much inner tension
That's kind of where we are. And then we find out the stuff with the World Series, and that's how they end up connecting. And we find out that he hasn't been able to move on from the death of his wife because of cancer.
Again, that whole scene, most of that scene, completely improvised by Robin Williams.
Of course.
The whole wife farting, all there was a great, again, on that the special feature on that Blu-ray. Chris Moore was talking about, because that was also shot in a whole set. They had like 7 sets made for him. Right. That was one of them. And he said they were doing just one long take, and they were just letting Robin go.
Right.
And there was grips and electricians all diving into the hallway because they were going to laugh so hard and they didn't want to fuck up this one long take.
Right.
So they were literally, he was coming back with coffee, and he just sees these grown men hurling their bodies into this hallway and dying laughing in the hallway because they couldn't fuck up the take.
Well, I know you probably know about this, but up until the Mork and Mindy show, they only shot sitcoms on 3 cameras.
Yes.
And they introduced a 4th camera because Robin Williams would improvise stuff that was so funny that they would just miss.
Yeah.
And
you can't redo
that because he's improvising. He's just coming up with it. Yeah. And they would just miss it because there wouldn't be a camera on him. So the Mork and Mindy show, and now this is just a thing they do. Yeah. They had a 4th camera installed that the whole job was to just follow Robin Williams because he was so funny and so spontaneous that we have to have a camera on you at all times because we don't know when you're going to say something nonsensical that's going to bring the house down.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Cocaine is one hell of a drug.
So he's now acclimated himself to Sean.
Yes.
Sean is his guy.
Yeah,
okay? They're buddies, if you will. As much as a kid and his therapist can be buddies, they're buddies. Where do we fall now as far as his storyline with his friends?
I don't know. Did we get to the point where Affleck is telling him?
Affleck's big monologue.
Yeah, where it's like, one day, I'm going to get here and I'm hoping that you're not going to be here. I think that's where we're at.
Around that point. Because the professor, Stellan Skarsgard, is setting up job interviews for Will.
Right.
And they're on the construction site on a beer break, as you do. Beer and smoke, as you do.
Yeah, South Boston.
It was the 90s. Come on, everybody smoked. And so they're sitting there leaning on the truck, and he's like, "Oh, you got these fucking job interviews," and Affleck's like, "Oh, in best way possible, good fucking bank." Yeah, okay. And he's like, "It'll probably get you out of here." And that's when Will reveals he doesn't want to leave. He's like, I want to grow up. We're going to be fucking neighbors. We're going to go to Little League with our kids. And that is where Ben gets his moment.
Right.
That's where Ben's monologue, his big moment to be like, look, if you're still coming around here when you're 40 years old, I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Now, here's a question. Going back to the original script, is there a possibility we get a Good Will Hunting 2 Chucky's Revenge?
Oh, maybe.
Or, as Kevin Smith will put, hunting season.
Yeah, hunting season. That's right.
Where Chucky now chases Will to fucking California because he didn't take one of those jobs. He just chased a girl. He's like, fuck you, now I'm going to fucking kill you.
Yeah, right.
I got, what was Cole Hauser's name? God damn it. Do you have the credits open there?
The Gerald Lambeau.
No. The buddy Cole Hauser.
Oh, Cole Hauser. Yeah, hold on. Let me.
I got to get his name. I think it's Bill. I want to say Bill.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I don't have the full.
2 seconds,
IMDb.
I got it.
I don't have the full IMDb.
Bill. Yeah, it's Bill. Simple.
Yeah,
Bill. So it's like him. He loads up Bill. He's got Morgan. They're fucking going. Morgan's just eating burgers. Bill is like loading and cleaning guns in his sleep. Yeah. He's gonna that character murdered. So I could do a whole episode on just that character. And he said maybe 3 words.
He's also friends with what's his name's character from The Town.
Oh, absolutely.
Not Ben Affleck's character.
No, Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner's character. Like they're boys.
Absolutely. You know that Bill has killed people.
Yeah.
And he's not worried about doing it again.
No.
Like you can see even in that fight, like he didn't say anything. Morgan's sitting in the back of the car. He's like, "Oh, well, I'm not going to go. We're going to eat our food." But he didn't say anything. He literally just turned his ring so the big knuckle side is out, and he's just got out.
Yeah.
Like, no, like, okay, let's do, no, fuck this. I already know what I'm going to do. Yeah. That guy's dead.
Yeah, right.
And the way he grabbed him in that fight and just turned and clocks the dude, it's like, by the way, let's talk about how that fight was shot.
Oh, it's great.
It was awesome. In slow motion, seeing everybody's cum face when they punch.
Yeah.
Like Casey Affleck punching the guy and just going, ah!
Yeah, right.
Like,
they're far too into
awesome.
it. Yeah. I liked it because it wasn't
so, as far as a Boston street fight goes, it was so beautifully shot.
Yeah, it was very artistic. Because you could have made that very chaotic and very quick, and instead they decided to drag it out.
Very Gus Van Sant.
Very Gus Van Sant.
Now imagine Michael Mann doing that.
Yeah, weird.
First of all, you got Phil Collins playing.
Yeah, of course. Yes. And everybody's punching on the beats.
Yes, exactly. It would be a fucking Marvel movie, basically.
It would be.
So where were we? I was talking about Chucky's Revenge, I think.
Yeah, so Chucky is
the great sequel to Good Will Hunting.
So basically he's being like, hey, I don't want, like, it's a failure if you grow up with me. That's not my life. That's not your life.
You were given a gift that none of us were given.
Right. So you need to do this.
Right.
You need to chase this. And then around that same time, Skylar asks Will if he'll move to California with her.
Right. Which again triggers him. Well, he's also been lying to her.
Right, because he's telling her that he
lives with his 12 brothers.
Right.
He's got a lot of defense mechanisms that obviously come from his past as a foster kid who had a lot of bad parental relationships.
Right.
You know, they stab him, cigarette burns. He was in youth homes and shit like that. So he's got a lot of natural defense mechanisms. Again, a very, I'm sure it happens in other cities, but it felt like a very natural Boston thing to take the girl to the dog track.
Yeah, right.
You know, I mean, in the 90s, Wonderland was still open and operating.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to the dog track and win her some bucks. There you go.
Yeah, right.
But that's where he starts the lie of his 12 brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Or 12 brothers, actually. And
yeah, and he refuses to tell her, like, basically that he grew up in the foster system and all this other stuff. And
the cracks start getting chipped away when she finally meets his friends
in
that bar scene.
Yes.
Because they all get together and she tells this awesome, filthy joke about the old couple on their 50th wedding anniversary.
Right.
And she does a terrible Irish accent that I'm not going to attempt to do.
Which is funny because she's British.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That's the weird
part.
All right.
It's just an accent, but she's in South Boston. You got to do an Irish accent there.
Yeah, right.
You know, you're in L Street, even though L Street looks nothing like that.
No.
So it tells that filthy joke about the blowjob at the 50th anniversary thing. Full on Guinness cum shot, love it. And as they're leaving, Will is borrowing the car from Chucky.
Yes.
And he's going to drop him off, and she's basically saying, "Oh, I want, Chucky basically says, he's not going to take you to his, one bedroom shithole apartment and have you sleep on the floor or something like that."
Yeah.
And she's like, "But you said you lived with 12 brothers." And she actually says, "I want to meet your brothers." And there is that look. He's like, "What the fuck is she talking about?"
Yeah, right.
British is be crazy.
Yeah, right. And so those things start to that leads up to that, like,
the relationship starts to unravel a little bit,
right? Because he's lying and all this other stuff, and it's kind of sad because that's what he set himself up for.
Oh, absolutely.
He set himself up for this end.
He is his own worst enemy in this movie.
Oh, he is. He definitely is. He's the pro and antagonist.
Right.
It's both. And it's just sad to watch that person fight to be happy because they don't feel they deserve it.
Right.
And that's kind of what's represented in this relationship where he's like, "Oh, I don't deserve to be loved." Mm-hmm. No one's ever loved me before, so why should this person?
Right.
And that's why they set him up, because he tries to say he's something he's not, right. and then that leads into the "it's not your fault," right?
Around there, yeah. I also don't want to gloss over a great scene where Ben Affleck's Chucky goes on a job interview for him.
Oh,
because he goes. That was when him and Skylar went on the Harvard Square date,
right?
Which, little note, everyone in the background was either Affleck or Damon family members.
Yeah,
mothers, uncles, everybody in the background at that little restaurant was all their family. That was like their day on the set. But so he goes on a date. Affleck, in his only court suit, shows up, and listening to them do the commentary track, this scene makes a lot more sense. This is Chucky regurgitating everything every public defender has ever told him.
Okay.
And if you listen back with that knowledge, there's a lot of, allegedly, retainer, it's all lawyer talk.
Right.
But shitty lawyer talk.
Right.
I don't know what kind of reputation you have in this city, but, all that bullshit. And yes, basically bilks them out of $65.
Yeah. Right.
He's like, yeah, allegedly, if I had $200 in my pocket, your situation would be a lot more better. In those words. And yeah, just the white socks and the bad suit that he obviously got passed down from his dad.
Yeah.
Only wears it to court and funerals.
Yep.
Yeah, it's perfect. Again, very authentic. But that gets us now to the breakup of not only him and Skylar, but him and the professor.
Right.
Because the professor's now pissed.
Yeah.
Because he went out on a limb to set up this interview for him with his colleagues, and he fucked it off.
Right.
For a date.
Right. And so then Sean goes at the professor.
Correct.
Because he's basically like, this kid is got to live his life, not the one that you want to further your career.
Well, it's also,
right?
I mean, Sean's doing the therapist thing. He understands that Will's not ready.
Yeah.
Because of all of his abandonment issues. And that's what gets really brought up because I forget the professor's name. Lambeau. Oh, yes, Gerald Lambeau. Because this is Professor Hayes when he goes to look for him.
Yeah. Right.
This is Professor Lambeau. Oh, this is fucking Professor Hayes.
Yeah.
So yeah, he basically makes fun of his friends. He wants to go get drunk and hang out with these Neanderthals.
Right.
And that brings up the abandonment issues that Robin Williams has seen in him. He's like, he's been pushed away from everybody that was supposed to love him.
Right.
And this family that he's chosen. And yes, why does he hang out with these Neanderthals? Because any one of them, without hesitation, would have put a bat to your head.
Right.
If he asked them to.
Right. And so then this is the connection we find that Sean and Will both have child abuse issues.
Exactly.
And that leads into the it's not your fault.
It's not your fault, yes.
And that's so good. And that scene is so good.
And that's supposed to be a scene that we look back on and think it's way over the top.
Right.
Way too over the top. But no, it's like that's really well done.
Yeah.
Like they really nailed the subtlety of that scene very well. Like it could have been such an overacted scene.
So this is a part. I lived in a hostel in LA for a while, and we didn't have cable or anything, and all we had was a TV and a DVD player. Okay. And so all we would have on TV all the time was this DVD of Good Will Hunting, and we played it all the time. And it was spontaneously, one of us, there was like 5 or 6 of us that lived in this one room.
Yep.
And it was a hellhole. and I'll tell you that story some other time. But we would be out in public.
But you were living the dream.
We were living the dream,
in
baby.
LA, man.
We were living the dream. But we would look at each other at one point. At one point, somebody would make eye contact with somebody, and out in public.
Yeah.
And then we just go, "It's not your fault." And then we would just do the whole scene. Thing. No, man, not you too. It's not your fault. Oh, come on. And just
don't do that, man.
And then just have somebody have an emotional breakdown in public while we're just doing Good Will Hunting.
Actors. This is what actors do when they hang out.
Yeah, that's what we did. So that's what we did. So that's a really fun. We watched this movie far too many times.
I would assume so if you were doing that in public.
Yeah.
So yes, we get to that point. So Skylar's broken up with him.
Yes.
Now the professor's kind of broken up, or he's broken up with the professor. Goes on one interview, which I feel was a leftover from the CIA script.
Yeah.
I feel that was like the one thing, because it was just so out of place.
It was.
The whole, I get it. It was part of his job interview thing, but the whole, decoding military ballistics, all that stuff, I'm like, yeah, that was part of their CIA sci-fi script.
Yeah,
that was part of the 65 pages.
Then he joins the Man in Black.
Yes, exactly.
It's him.
But
and Will
again,
Smith.
provides a great speech about his buddy coming back with shrapnel in his ass, and I put it there, and all that other stuff, and I'm sure that's where the blowjob happened. By the way, that was a blowjob scene,
probably.
Or that was part of the "It's not your fault" scene.
Yeah, either one. It's not your fault. Oh.
Let Sean make it better, baby.
Oh, baby.
So Skylar takes off.
Yep.
For California.
Yep, she's leaving.
And
she's heading out California way.
California way.
I hear they have internet out
Looking
there.
at the internet.
Yeah, they have internet out California, right?
Love that episode, by the way.
It's so good.
I love that.
Oh, there was a ghost.
There's a big spooky ghost.
Big spooky ghost.
Ectoplasm everywhere.
Everywhere. Oh, God.
Asian girls farting. Yeah, that's a thing.
That's so
That's
funny.
a thing.
It's so funny.
So
they
we get so lost sometimes.
I know. So she left for California. His friends give him a car
Well, he turns 21.
for his 21st birthday.
21st birthday. Bill fixed up a car.
Yep.
Morgan had a job for a week.
Yep.
Fixing up the car with him.
Yep.
It is a colossal piece of shit, but Bill is so confident in his work. You
Yeah.
absolutely believe him when he lifts up the hood. He's like, it's a good engine. It's a good engine. It'll run.
Yeah. What?
You are the most authentic fucking character in this whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
I know this motherfucker.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you just watch him coming out of the bar, beer in hand, and just be like, yeah, it's a good engine, man. It's a good engine. It'll run. It'll run. Really?
Yeah.
He's going to drive from Boston to California in that motherfucker?
Yeah.
He's going to die.
Yikes.
I mean, this was for him to commute to a job in Cambridge.
Right.
From Cambridge.
Right. And then they're all hoping that he's going to go to California to see this girl.
Well, they were just, I don't even think they knew, because I don't think they knew his plans.
No, because Chucky shows up at the house.
He shows up at the house, and he has that moment of clarity
Right.
where it's like, oh, he's gone.
Yeah, and then he's happy about it. And
Sure, but they don't know where he went.
Yeah, I
Again,
know.
this is why hunting season, Goodwill 2 hunting
yeah,
season is going to
because
happen.
they like find out that he's like a
He didn't
blackjack.
go get a fucking job.
He's a blackjack
It's
dealer in
Rounders.
Vegas. Yeah, right.
So we got partial Rounders, partial Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back part movie.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to have them do a sequel, absolutely. We'll just fill in ourselves.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
So he leaves Sean a note. And again, in great Robin Williams fashion, completely ad-libbed. And they talk about this in great detail because it clearly meant a lot to them. Like having him on set and having the ability to have him just create on the moment. Because they shot him coming out of his door, like I think Matt said like 25 times. They did like 25 takes on him finding that letter. Right. And the scene on paper was Sean comes out of his door, reads the letter, puts it back, goes back inside.
Yes.
And Matt was on set because he was actually off camera reading the letter to him. So he would have his voice to react to.
Right.
And there was somewhere, he said somewhere around take 12 or 15, like in the middle of these 25 takes, Robin Williams came out, read the letter, and just went, son of a bitch stole my line, and went back in the house and never did it again. So there was just that one take. And when he did it, Gus Van Sant still had him going through, but Matt was just like, we need to go get that fucking take.
Yeah,
that
right.
was the wow moment.
That was it.
And yeah, it was just one take. Never did it again.
Yeah.
He would do variations on stuff.
Right, but that was
the
it.
one that really clicked with him. And I gotta say, the soundtrack to this movie was very 50-50.
Yeah.
The score was great,
Right.
but the songs,
Meh.
90s.
Yeah.
They don't age well.
They don't. The
They
score
age about as well as us praising Harvey Weinstein right now.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I know.
So that's Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, it is.
That's the wrap. That wraps it
yeah,
up.
Yeah, he's not there, and Ben Affleck's happy about it.
He's happy for a moment, but I bet you when he gets that first postcard, because I mean, let's play this out, okay?
Yeah.
What actually happens? First of all, that car shits the bed somewhere around Connecticut.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Let's
he gets
be
a
honest.
phone call.
He doesn't even get to Foxwoods, and that car is fucked.
Yeah.
And so he steals a car.
Yep.
Okay, that's obvious.
Now he's on the wrong side of the law.
He's always been there.
Yeah.
So this was a natural progression for him. So he steals a car and he's on his way. He probably stole a nicer car than the one, but God bless him. They gave him a car for his birthday.
Yeah. Right.
It's not like these guys come from money. Right. So he drives out to California. Skylar doesn't know he's coming.
That's right. She doesn't.
They left on very bad terms.
Right. So how is he?
They left with "I don't love you."
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
And so now you're gonna just show up at this
Show up
girl's...
on the doorstep a fucking freeloader with a stolen car.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So maybe it lasts. There's the nostalgia factor. There's still a little bit of feelings there. So okay, maybe she takes him in like a stray
he
puppy.
confesses to everything, and we get the you had
But
me
again,
from
not
hello.
everything. Not everything.
Yeah.
This isn't a character that's going to open up that easily.
Right.
So I feel they're living together for maybe a few months.
Yeah. 4 months.
He's crashing in her dorm because she's going to more school.
That's right. She's going to law school? No, she's going to doctor school.
Doctor school? Was it music school?
Was it music school?
I mean, she was playing an instrument.
Yeah, maybe it was music school. I don't know. She's going to more school though. She's going to more school.
She's going to go do more learning.
She's going to go do the more learning.
So he's crashing in her dorm, like the freeloader that Will Hunting is. Doing all her homework, obviously, that's the rent.
Yeah.
Even though she doesn't want it because she has to learn these things.
Right.
It just comes so easy to him. But at a certain point, he's going to sabotage himself.
Yeah.
And now he's out on his ass.
Okay.
Okay. He's probably living with you in a hostel.
He is. He's
watching a movie over and over again.
Yeah.
And
because there's nothing else.
And finally, at some certain point, he contacts Chucky somehow.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I'm out here.
It's not working.
Doing this thing. I got to come back home.
Right.
Chucky says, fuck that shit.
I'm coming to get
Bill,
you.
Load up.
We're going to get him.
We're going to go fuck this guy up.
Yeah, because he didn't do it.
He didn't take my advice and actually make something. He's not making good bank, okay?
Yeah, he's not.
He's not. He's living with fucking Liam.
Yeah.
Watching a DVD
in
for
a
70,
hostel.
going to fucking bars and stealing fucking PBR from other assholes.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
That is. Going to the rainbow and getting to fights.
So Chucky and Bill load up. Morgan's there for the ride. He's still jerking off in a baseball glove, but whatever. It's
weird, but yeah.
It's his thing.
Yeah.
Another great scene that we just completely glossed over. Them just hanging out in Chucky's mom's house, and he's jerking off in her mother's bedroom. And the reasoning behind it, I don't have a VCR.
Yeah.
Your mom has a VCR.
That's
so I'm going to jerk off into your Little League glove.
Yep. Checks out.
Fantastic. So they're on their way out to California.
Yep.
Bill's just, like I said, loading guns in the backseat. They are going to fuck Will up.
I'm going to murder this
boy.
It
is officially hunting season.
It's officially hunting season.
Their car crashes.
A Kevin Smith joint.
A Kevin Smith joint. Love it. Their car crashes probably somewhere around Chicago.
Yeah, they're going to make it a little further.
They'll make it a little bit further.
Yeah.
Because at the very least,
now,
Chucky's car had a back seat.
Yeah, right. Now, do they get involved in the plot of Dogma while this is going on?
I'm guessing they kind of intersect somewhere around Chasing Amy.
Okay.
Where because remember that scene, because Jay and Bob's only scene in Chasing Amy.
Yeah.
And they said they were going to Chicago.
Right.
And that's kind of where I feel they intersect.
Oh, so they meet up with Jay and Bob.
They're the ones selling the drugs to Jay and Bob to sell more drugs.
To get a better car, fix it up or something. Yeah.
Exactly.
Because that's the thing, is they're not going to waver in their mission.
No, absolutely not.
So they'll find money to get the car fixed.
These are driven people.
Yeah.
And they don't need a lot because obviously Bill can fix up a car.
Right. They basically need the parts.
They're traveling with a mechanic.
Yeah.
And Morgan.
Yeah, they just need the parts.
Exactly. So they got to get Jay and Bob to sell drugs for them.
Right.
And they're dumb enough to do it.
Yeah.
And so they're selling drugs in Chicago with them for a little bit. I'd say maybe, a week or two. They set up a little network for a week or two.
Yeah.
Get some parts, get the car fixed up, back on the road.
Yeah.
Loaded for bear.
Yeah, they're going.
Maybe Bill murdered a couple people in a drunken rage, but it happens.
Yeah, and now the car probably breaks down again somewhere
Morgan
in Montana.
Probably maybe assaulted a girl or two.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe.
Yeah. They get to Montana.
Allegedly.
They get to Montana, car breaks down again, and this time they just steal another car.
Yeah, they're just like, fuck this car.
Yeah, so they get another car.
Grab the guns, we're getting this fucking car.
Yeah, they get a pickup truck probably.
And then they make utility vehicle.
They make it to California. Yeah. Nondescript California.
California way. They find internet.
They found the internet and Will Hunting.
Yes, they did.
And then they murdered him.
Yeah.
And that's Will Hunting. That's hunting day.
And that is hunting season. Yeah.
So,
Good Will Hunting 2, hunting season, coming soon.
Coming soon from the NAI network.
There you go. Come on, we got enough creative fucking people on this network. I think anyone listening is going to be like, yeah, that's a fucking story, man.
Yeah, we could do that.
I want to see
There's already a Bill and Liam in the movie, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So the funny part is...
Because he's living with Will Hunting.
So
Bill's a murderer.
Here's a couple of things. Bang, bang. Yeah, here's a couple of things. I was in Good Will Hunting. I was just an extra. So
see, and we talked about this, I believe, on our first episode, where I've done probably 20 Boston movies, but none of the cool ones.
Yeah, see, I've done all the cool ones and none of the bad ones.
Exactly.
To be fair, I was in that one where Kevin Smith was an MMA fighter. So
Kevin James.
Kevin James. I love Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith is amazing. Kevin Smith is my hero.
I just don't like how much he cries.
Kevin Smith?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like the Kevin Smith eyes.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm saying when I say Kevin Smith eyes. If you watch his Instagram, it's weird.
Yeah,
but as a filmmaker, he's fantastic.
But I was in that one. But I did get to hang out with Henry Winkler. for like
I mean, that's a story
the whole time. And so I could tell. We'll talk about that at a different time. Maybe when we do that movie, we'll do that particular movie, and I'll tell you.
See, we got to get to some bad movies.
Yeah, and then so we'll do that movie, and I'll tell you the story about the time that I hung out with the Fonz.
There you go.
So
see, and then we can do my bad movie, Ghost of Girlfriend's Past, and I can tell you about hanging out with Matthew McConaughey.
If we do, I'm going to have to bring in my friend Mike Anastasia because he is also in that movie.
That is quite the actor's name.
Yeah, Michael Anastasia.
Michael Anastasia.
Yeah, so we'll have to do that.
He is in your movie or my movie?
He's in your movie.
Oh, okay. Where was he?
I forget what his thing is, but that was a running bit.
He doesn't tweet it every 20 minutes. It's on TBS?
Yeah, no, but that's the running bit at Improv Asylum. Whenever somebody introduces him, because he lives in California, so whenever he comes back and like does like a guest thing or like a special charity thing or whatever, he's always introduced as a star of Ghost of Girlfriend's Past.
A star.
Yeah. Well, again, because we're giving him shit. It's not like it's a facetious like you're the star of Ghost of Girlfriend's Past.
He was in that scene behind that guy, kind of out of focus.
Yeah, right. That was the deal. So
that was that. Won 2 Academy Awards, I believe.
I believe so. It won script,
and Robin Williams won.
Yes.
So it got the Academy Award for writing, which in the I'm going to keep calling it a documentary just because I don't have a real name for it. It's just a long interview on the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
But Kevin Smith talks in great detail.
Featurette.
Yes, because they were filming Dogma.
Yeah.
And they left the set of Dogma to go to the Oscars that year.
That's right.
And the entire cast and crew was sitting around of Dogma watching the Oscars because Kevin Smith and Scott Mosier were producers on Good Will Hunting, and
they were
doing
invested.
Dogma. Kevin basically got them the script to Harvey.
Yeah, right.
And he talked in great detail about how they sat there watching. They watched their acceptance speech. They were very animated. They were excited. They thanked Cuba Gooding Jr. for Christ's sakes, but didn't thank Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
And almost 20 minutes afterwards, Kevin's mom calls and goes, "Your friends forgot to thank you." Yeah, they thanked Cuba Gooding Jr.
They did.
And the only reason they thanked him was because the year before when he won, he wouldn't let them play him off. He just kept yelling into the microphone. So that was their way of doing it. So they just kept yelling names out.
Yeah.
And they forgot to yell out
Kevin Smith
and Scott Mosier.
Yeah.
Let me say, yes, it won. So it won for Best Screenplay, and it won for Best Supporting Actor. It was nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah.
And let me see.
But that year...
It was a stacked year, I believe. It was Titanic, right?
Yeah, 97?
97.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
97. So it was Titanic that won, I'm assuming.
Yeah, let me take a look.
I'm trying to pull it up here. Best Picture, read article.
70th Academy Awards. Best Picture was Titanic, but it was also up against L.A. Confidential, The Full Monty, and As Good as It Gets.
And As Good as It Gets for 1997 was a fucking monster.
Yes.
It was, first of all, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson won the Academy Award for that.
Correct. Best Actor.
I believe Helen Hunt and Greg Kinnear were nominated.
Helen Hunt won for Best Actress.
She won.
And then Greg Kinnear, I think, was nominated for Best Supporting, but obviously lost to Robin Williams.
I just remember that Academy Awards because they basically took it was a milestone year. So it was the 70th, right?
Yes, 70th.
So they had all of the best actor and actress winners, including supporting, on stage for like the class photo.
Oh, fun.
And I remember because they had Jack, Helen, and Robin Williams right up front because they had just won.
Yeah.
So it was weird. And they had all the award winners from the past.
And now it just looks like the picture from The Shining.
Exactly.
Now it just
straight up with Jack out front.
Yeah, weird.
Which is interesting about the Academy Awards because Jack Nicholson doesn't sit in the front row anymore. I don't think he goes to the Academy Awards. That was always a staple of the Academy broadcast where he would be sitting front row, much like he does at the Lakers games with his glasses on. And now, last year, I think The Rock was sitting in his seat.
Weird.
Which is, weird in so many levels, but hey, good for him.
Yeah, good for him.
Good for Dwayne.
Good for Dwayne.
Good for Dwayne.
Good
for
Dwayne.
A guy named Dwayne becoming the biggest fucking movie star ever.
Action star, too.
His name is fucking Dwayne.
Dwayne.
That's not a name of a star.
No.
But God damn it, he made that shit work.
Yeah, he did. Well, I mean, he dropped it for a while, and he was just The Rock, and that worked out pretty well.
I always felt he would have been, destined for stardom right away using Rocky Johnson.
Yeah.
I always thought he was going to go that route. And he's like, no, fucking Dwayne. I'm The Rock. What do I need to change my name for?
Right. Yeah, right.
That was always one of those things where, and we'll wrap it up in a minute.
Yeah.
But when wrestlers would leave WWE and then go into movies and use their real names, you always realized how terrible wrestlers' real names
Yeah.
are.
Shawn Michaels.
Jean-Paul Levesque.
Jean-Paul Levesque.
Rena Marrow is a terrible name.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Joni Lauer is a terrible name.
Yep. Michael Hickenbottom.
Tammy Sitch is a terrible name.
Yeah.
It's more of a porn... Oh, never mind.
You're right. She did porn.
Yeah, she did.
She did porn, everybody.
She did. She did.
So that was Good Will Hunting.
That was Good Will Hunting.
What movie are we going to do next?
Well, we got to do a bad movie.
I nominate Kung Pao Enter the Fist.
Okay.
Have you seen that movie?
Maybe once.
Oh, so then I shouldn't do that because the last time I nominated a movie, I nominated The Room.
And that was fantastic.
And that was fantastic, but it melted your brain.
It did melt my brain.
I kept getting text messages from you about how. So I think it's up to you now.
So basically, okay. So we can do a bad movie and do it in our normal way.
Right.
Or we can go Star Wars Holiday Special and do a watch along.
Okay.
And now that you got all the gear,
right,
we can do a live watch along.
We can do a live watch along.
Now for the live, so if we're gonna do the first live watch along,
yeah,
I nominate Showgirls right off the bat.
Ooh, Showgirls.
Because that's
Bill.
That's NC-17, baby.
It is.
Yeah.
So's this show. Let's be honest.
Fair.
Let's be honest.
Fair.
Okay.
Now we might not be able to watch along the video stream of it, but we'll be able to watch that.
Yeah,
you you might have to get your own copy and
watch
along with us. But for a watch along, I think that'd be a fun watch along.
Okay.
Now for just a review of a bad movie,
yeah,
I think we pick either one of the two that we just mentioned. What was yours? Here Comes the Boom.
Yeah, Here Comes
Fantastic fucking title. If that's not an Adam Sandler production, I don't know what is.
Yeah, right.
Here comes the... Oh, because you're in MMA. Here comes the boom.
And that's the song he uses.
Oh, fuck. Oh,
Here comes
really?
the boom.
Saliva?
Baby, the boom. Yeah.
Oh, that was Click Click Boom, wasn't it?
No, it might have been.
It was POD was Boom, I think, right?
Okay.
Yeah. All I know is that the scene that I was in, part of the issue was that he was mad because the guy used his entrance song, which is Here Comes the Boom.
Oh, my God. I think we might have to do that movie.
Okay, we'll do Here Comes the Boom then.
And when you get situated, we'll do Showgirls.
Yeah.
Because that's something we probably should tease a little bit more. So,
Yeah, we're
so
also-
people can gear up and get ready and be live with us.
We're going to have to figure out a bunch of things. We're going to have to figure out Twitch, like, nudity laws.
Well, that's why I said we probably won't be able to shoot the stream out.
Yeah, so
We definitely won't be able to replay that shit on YouTube or Facebook.
Yeah, right.
You know, any of that stuff.
Unless we get the edited version where they get the digital bras on
Digital-
everybody.
You know, there's a lot to unpack about the editing of Showgirls.
Yeah.
Including the isolated track of just the dialogue
Yeah.
and sound effects. No music.
Yeah.
And it is fantastic.
All right, so we'll figure out how we do Showgirls.
Okay.
Because we'll do a watch along of Showgirls and
Definitely.
we'll figure it out.
Definitely. But that's a little bit down the road. Next week, Here Comes the Boom.
Next week, Here Comes the Boom.
Boy, that's...
Yikes!
Is this it? Okay.
So
this is his entrance theme.
yeah,
Kevin James comes to the ring, comes to the octagon.
Octagon.
To this.
yeah,
Ugh.
yeah.
I already hate this fucking movie. You know, I actually haven't seen it yet.
I haven't either.
You haven't watched it.
No.
We're in it, and you haven't watched. At least I've watched the shitty movies I'm in.
Oh no, I know they're bad. I don't need to watch it.
It's like, hey, there I am making out with that girl. I'm gone.
So,
Okay,
so here's the
movie's
thing.
over.
Here's the thing. I have seen the shitty movies that I have spoken in. Any of the movies that I'm an extra in, I don't care.
Oh, fair enough.
I don't care.
You don't care about finding your.
Hold on, Here Comes the Boom.
Oh, okay.
That was worth it. Yeah, because I don't care.
Almighty.
Because I don't care about finding myself in a crowd. You know what I mean? Like I don't.
Everybody cares about finding themselves in a crowd.
Yeah, I don't care. So, all right. Thank you very much for tuning into that
Now depressed me.
movie show. Stay tuned because we're gonna watch Here Comes the Boom next week, and it's gonna be epic.
Here we are.
It's going to be an epic
Yes.
MMA battle. Thank you for tuning in to all of those that tuned in live on Twitch. That is twitch.tv/New Age Insiders Pop. You can follow along on this show because it's a ton of fun to watch us live. Otherwise, you can follow us at the Facebook page, which is that
Facebook.com/ThatMovieShowTV. And follow us at all the Twitter information is below at Mike Wendt, at Liam NAI, hashtag That Movie Show, New Age Pop, New Age Insiders, Bill Neville NAI.
Yep.
Who's,
all that
are you drowning us
nonsense.
out? Okay.
We're getting
My headphones are very loud.
All right. So thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.